If you're stuck in any of these ranks, it can feel impossible to climb when you're constantly hit with terrible teammates, smurfs, and losing streaks. But don't worry, I will explain exactly what you need to do to reach higher ranks than 99% of people, and I'm willing to bet that all top 500 players got where they are by doing precisely what I'm about to show you in this video. First of all, I want to say that I know ranked can be frustrating, and it doesn't help when you want to improve, but all you see are videos like 1 tip to get out of elo hell or 10 mistakes noobs make, because they are made by people who are in high ranks but have never been below high ranks. Back when I started playing competitive video games like League, Overwatch or Apex, I would see tips and tricks videos like just die less, don't stagger, position better. But when I heard all of that advice, because I was a terrible silver player, I had no clue on how to actually do that. Don't die? Well, duh, it's not like I'm intentionally dying. So if you're watching this, you're probably a casual player wanting to rank up to either impress your friends or feel good about getting that shiny high rank. But no matter the case, I am here to help, because I know how difficult it can be to improve by yourself, especially if your time to play the game is limited. But luckily for us, we don't need to be unemployed to climb the ranks. Now, the first thing we need to fix is your brain. You're currently suffering from elo hell brain. It makes you come up with all of these random excuses for why you're hard stuck. The most common one is probably, my teammates are always so bad, they're holding me back, I could climb so easy if only I had better teammates. But if you think that, don't worry, we all do, because it's true. No matter what rank you are, your teammates are always going to act like monkeys, never doing what you expect them to do. Everyone gets bad teammates and faces smurfs, but over multiple games, you will get the smurfs on your team and the bad players on the enemies, so they should average out. But luckily, math can prove why thinking like this is bad. Let's say you're in Platinum. If the enemy team has 6 plat players and your team has 5 plat players and you, as long as you play just a little bit better than the average plat player, your team will have the advantage and you will end up winning more than you lose, even if you're solo queue. And recently, the second excuse I keep hearing about is the rigged matchmaking. The game forcing you to go on losing streaks and messing around with your teammates and enemies. Fine, let's say engagement matchmaking is real. So what? How would that make any difference to you? It wouldn't suddenly make you play any different. Even if it was real, would you all of a sudden stop trying to play your best? No, so it's irrelevant. You still have to go into every game hoping to play as best as you can, no matter what the other players are doing. But this excuse is also instantly destroyed by looking at how any top 1% player can consistently climb out of lower ranks with incredibly high win rates. So instead of wasting our brain on coping with excuses, let's use it to only think about 2 things after every game we play. What can I do better next game? And what mistakes do I need to work on? Because, spoiler alert, even top 500 players make a lot of mistakes during their games. So if they're not playing perfectly, then we definitely aren't playing perfectly either. Imagine if 2 teams would both play absolutely perfectly, it would be an even match. But once people start having slip-ups here and there, things change. Players can and should take advantage of each other's mistakes. But I know that as a low elo player, it can be difficult to know where to look and identify your mistakes, especially while playing. Marvel Rivals is a complicated game with lots of things to think about during each individual match. Trying to focus on not making mistakes while also playing your best and being pressured by the enemies is nearly impossible. So here is the first step to start improving and playing better. Instead of being overwhelmed trying to focus on mistakes during a game, we need to find them with a clear mind. This is where the replay feature comes in clutch. I think it's the most underused tool in the game, because watching your replays is essential. I guarantee you will instantly see mistakes when you start watching back your games. But maybe you don't even know what to look for, so here are a couple of pointers and good starting points. Firstly, your deaths. When people say, just die less, this is how you actually figure out how. Look on the replay timeline and see where you died. Now go there, but 20-30 seconds leading up to that death. Now, try and figure out what got you killed. Were you out of position? Were Were you unaware of the enemy? Basically, just ask any question that could give you an answer. The second thing to look out for during a replay is your ultimate usage. Skip around to when you have your ultimate available. Now, start watching from there and look out for opportunities where you could have used your ultimate. Did you do that in the actual game? If not, where did you use it instead? Skip ahead to when you used your ultimate and ask yourself if it was a good use or not. These are two good starting points for mistakes, but if these stand out the most or there's others more obvious ones, it doesn't matter because your mistakes are your own. Everyone has unique issues which need their own solutions. However, there's a big trap you need to avoid while watching replays. Don't look at your teammates. Of course, they also make tons of mistakes. Some of them could have made you lose that game and it's easy to blame them. But like the earlier math has proven, the games are in our own hands. We are the only constant in each game. Everything else is random, so focus on your own mistakes. They are the ones that you have control over. But be careful. Do not try to look for all of the mistakes you could make. Find one obvious problem and focus on that single one during your next games. Ideally a quick play so you don't have to worry too much about winning or losing and can only focus on fixing that one mistake. Now doing this will improve your game sense and how to play the game correctly. But that's only half the battle. The other half is your mechanical skill. Yes, you do need some level of mechanics to be better. Now this doesn't mean you have to hop on aim labs for like 5 hours a day, but simply practicing your aim, your hero combos and attacks for like 10 or 20 minutes as a warm-up can have a huge impact on your mechanics. Now I know not all heroes require insane skills, but it doesn't mean there's nothing to practice for them. For example, on Rocket, being able to wall climb and dash at the same time can greatly increase your chances of survival when you need to avoid being killed by an enemy. So even if your main hero doesn't have complicated combos, you can still practice to improve some small things. Any extra practice can be extremely helpful. It doesn't matter which heroes you play because having better mechanics will never be a bad thing. Now of course, if you want to go all in on your mechanics to hard carry every single game, you can do that. You can aim train for hours and train your combos and mechanics and you will be able to completely diff the enemy. But like I said, mechanics are only half of the game. I've actually seen plenty of Hellas and Punishers with insane aim that are still stuck in Plat or Diamond because they have horrible game sense. It doesn't matter how well you shoot if you're dead half the game. Lastly, you need a practical mindset. And no, I don't mean just be positive, don't be toxic, man. This is actually important. You need to realize that rank is meaningless. If you just play well, you will rank up as a result of that. So stop worrying about winning or losing and instead focus on playing as well as you can. But a good way to tilt less, to be less toxic and to keep a clearer mind is to simply take breaks and stop playing. I see tons of people posting their insane loss streaks of like 7, 8, even 10 games and I'm just sitting there asking why? Just stop, man. Get some help. I'll be honest with you, I'll stop after just one loss. I take a few minutes to calm down, then I'll probably go and watch the replay to see what I could have done better. Instead, people lose, get tilted and queue up again, lose another game, get even more tilted, and 5 games later you lost over 100 points and dropped a rank. But the problem is that it doesn't only affect you. If you go into a game with a bad mood, you're likely to get mad, be toxic, and ruin your teammates' mood as well. So now they're also tilted and they play bad. You're creating this ocean of toxicity that feeds itself and makes you lose more and more. But instead, you can avoid all of this by simply taking a break. You lose 1 or 2 games, log off, take a few minutes or even a day away. As a serial tilter myself, let me tell you, I know how frustrating this game can be, and sometimes a short break might not be enough. Spend some time away. Maybe use that time to watch your replays and figure out how to play better the next time you hop on the game. Nothing is more detrimental to your progress than tilt and toxicity. But on the other side, I'm sure you can remember a moment where you had a genuinely positive teammate. Maybe he hopped into voice chat, gave good comms, maybe some compliments on your plays, and the general mood of the team was just so much better. If a toxic mood can ruin your team's morale, a positive one can boost it instead. But if you happen to be on the receiving end of someone's toxicity, don't risk it, just mute them. If they are being toxic, I guarantee you, there's no value in leaving them open to talk. Good, positive communication can lead to better teamwork, which means better team fights and so more wins. But like I said, all of this can be overwhelming, especially if you're not sure where to start. You could be wasting time and energy on the wrong things and miss out on a lot of progress on your improvement. I know, because that's what I had to go through to get better. So let me help you skip the bad parts and go straight to making progress. Get my coaching and start seeing improvements right after. Thanks for watching. Now go get some wins.